Hi, this is Ben Ivey from Entrepreneur Lifestyle, and today I wanted to dive into what is self-sabotage and also how does that actually impact your business growth as an entrepreneur. Well, first of all, very simply put, self-sabotage is probably where in your life you are delaying on task. Like, these are the kind of symptoms. So you're delaying on task, you're not doing what you say you should be doing, you are beating yourself up for not following through, you're finding you're not sticking to the things that you need to in order to move the business forward. Sometimes you feel like things are going really well and then suddenly something happens and you go downhill. Maybe you experience periods of burnout. These are some of the symptoms that can arise through self-sabotage. Now, in essence, you've got this internal conflict, which means you're taking 2 steps forward and then 1 step back. So what we want to do is to be able to overcome that. So let me give you an example of a client that I worked with recently to really give you an in-depth example of how this can show up in your life as an entrepreneur. So we're going to call him Alex. And when Alex came to me, he said, look, Ben, all I want to do is to be consistent, be on fire and crushing it. But right now, I'm having these periods of growth and then I'm falling off the wagon. Perhaps you can relate to this, where you go through these periods of extreme growth. And for some people, this is a couple of weeks. For other people, this is honestly a few months, right? 4 or 5 months. They're really nailing it. And then they start to go downhill, right? So he was saying for him, it was probably about 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off. So 3 weeks extremely hard, like on point, getting stuff done. And then he'd get there, he'd coast, he wouldn't really do much, and then he'd start to head downhill. And basically he said this self-sabotage, or how he described it as being consistent, is stopping him to keep going. Instead, he's falling off track and going downhill. Now what was happening is he'd build some momentum in his business, but then he'd fall off track. So what we've got to do is to look into ways of how do we actually move things forward, because self-sabotage is going to negatively impact your business in such a bad way because it prevents you being consistent and it stops you moving forward. And one of the biggest challenges is logically, it doesn't make sense. And a lot of tech entrepreneurs that we work with struggle with this because they don't understand, like, it doesn't make sense logically. And this is where, if we were to use an example of coding, it's like a bug appearing, right? Suddenly a bug stops your software producing like a contract or something that it's meant to produce, right? You can change the contract as much as you want, but you need to deal with that bug in order for it to actually continually moving forward. Self-sabotage are the bugs in your software, in your head, in your mind, that are stopping you moving forward. So if this resonates with you and you're someone that does struggle with self-sabotage, feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to discuss how me and my team help entrepreneurs like yourself to remove that so that you can decrease those oscillations. There's still going to be oscillations, you'll still have ups and downs, but by nowhere near the extreme. Be consistent and start to thrive in your business and your life. I'll see you in the next one.